And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. How are you all doing? Happy almost New Year. I've been running around today thinking today was New Year's Eve. I don't know why, but that's what I was thinking. So happy almost New Year's Eve. The open studio is on Wednesday, which will be on New Year's Eve. I'm going to do the same thing I did for Christmas Eve. So I'll be on the premiere, so I'll be hanging out with you guys. So if anyone's going to be around on New Year's Eve, you can check out the Tokyo painting, and that is going to go off as normal. So first, huge thank you to my Christmas present givers last week, Brian Moore, Honey, Rhea, and my brother Robert from Canada. Thank you for the super chat, super thanks, stickers, all of the above. Thank you so much for that. Other than that, I don't have any new items. This is it. This is the end of the year. The 543 list resets next week, so the people that were on the list get their chance to win this week, and then all of you fine people are back on the list. So get your suggestions in now, because you all have a chance next week. That's what we got. So we're going to work on the dollar bill painting, because we took that cool poll last week and it was split right down the middle. Last week we worked on the turkey painting, which I will show you guys when it's done, because that's going to Mike Stevenson, and I have a special framing thing that's going on with that. He had a great idea, so I'm going to take care of that too. So I'll show you that when it's done, when it's all framed and everything. Yeah, so let's look at the paintings and we'll get going. Hello everyone, welcome. Look, what is going on there? Brian, thank you. All right, well Brian, I have a return thank you for you coming up in about a second. All right, let's do it. All right. I have 3 543s for you. Again, it was crazy, so I didn't get to do 5 of them, but I spent a little bit of extra time on these. Let me say hello to everyone first before we get too far into this. Mark Reeves, what's up, buddy? Hello, Patty. And there's Brian again. Hello, Swamp, what's going on? Real One, you're on the list tonight. You have a 25% chance to win, my friend. That's good. Adam, what's up? Ian, hello. Tater, what's going on? Dan Mayer, hello. Mr. Shees, good evening. Yeah, I'm going to post a 543 that I sent to Gary, and he framed it like crazy. So look for that post this week. I'm going to get that out. Ron, hello. Auntie Paula, hello, and Happy New Year. What else we got? There's Mike Stevenson. All right, I think I got everyone for now. So we're just gonna roll with that. What was I doing right before that? I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's all fine. Everything's fine. Yeah. What's first? Okay, first one up. There were 3 today. Yeah, it was a crazy week, so I only got 3 done, but I put a little bit of extra into them, so I hope you enjoy them. Let's start with Mr. Grouchy Lenny. Oh, that's what I was going to say real quick before I get into that. I have 2 winners that have won that I have not sent out your paintings yet. So bear with me because of the holidays. I'm going to try to get them out tomorrow. If not, they'll go out right after the new year. So hang on. You are getting your paintings. It's just those holiday times are crazy. All right. So Grouchy Lenny last week asked for a discarded umbrella in the rain. That's such a melancholy, cool idea. So I did that. This was fun. Taking random things and gluing them all together. And this is what I came out with. Let's see if I can do this one this way. I'm trying to focus on the background. The background's blurry, so that's not helping much. There we go. Not in focus? I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. I don't know. Anyway, I named this one Sung in the Rain after the 1952 musical comedy starring Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds singing in the rain. And it was fun. I just kind of glued it together. I found a photo of a street and then injected the umbrella into it, just kind of discarded. And I really like this painting a lot. So I spent way too much time on this. This was going to be the time lapse, but I didn't know how long it was going to take, and I didn't want to mess around with it. So this is not the time lapse for tomorrow. The time lapse for tomorrow, oh, there it is, Sung in the Rain. There you go. All right. The time lapse for tomorrow comes to us from Mr. Swamp Picker. So if you remember here, you've already seen this one. Swamp last week asked for a crocodile skull, so I did that. What was interesting about, I've done a lot of skulls, a lot of different type of skulls from different animals and stuff. What kind of blew me away about the crocodile skull, I mean, you see a crocodile, right? Or you see like another animal skull, like you look up a dove skull or a skull of a mouse or something. And they don't look really like the animal that the skull came from. Even human skulls, human skulls, we're familiar with them, but they still don't necessarily look like the animal. Crocodile skulls, their heads are literally all bone. It's crazy. They look like a crocodile. At first I thought this wasn't right, but it is. So there's a fun thing when this comes out tomorrow. There's a new thing with YouTube. You can include a quiz with your video. So I did that with this one. So there's a little quiz about crocodile bite force. So if you want to try that quiz tomorrow, that's going to be on there. What do I got to tell you about crocs? I don't know. The bite pressure is insane. Crocodiles live all throughout the tropical regions of the world. These large semi-aquatic reptiles appeared in the timeline about 240 million years ago. So they're doing everything right. They haven't changed very much. They're just all kinds of awesome. So there you go. So that one's just called Gator. Now there was another painting called Gator. So this one is actually called Gator 2 on the website. But it's Gator. So there are 2 paintings out there now with Gator. We've done so many of them. I'm running out of title names. Yeah, exactly. Brian, raven skulls. All bird skulls are weird. But that one, man, it was like, wow, that just looks like a crocodile. All right, last but not least is Mr. Brian Moore. Has been asking for this for a while. And when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, it's the end of the year. I'm doing it. Brian's been asking for Spacesuit Jesus, and I have no idea what that is, but that's what I came out with. I'm going to spin this around so you can see it. There's my Spacesuit Jesus. Now, what I did was, my inspiration for this came from the character or the statue Buddy Christ that's featured in the Kevin Smith movie Dogma, which came out in '99. Great movie. And this is the little statue of Jesus giving the thumbs up has become like an internet meme type of thing. So when I knew I was going to be doing this one, I'm like, I'm totally doing the Kevin Smith Buddy Jesus in a spacesuit. So there you go. So that's what it is. And the title for this one I'm super proud of. This one's just called Dad is My Co-Pilot. Do you get it? Dad is my co-pilot. So there you go. So there are your 3. I actually did look up Spacesuit Jesus just to see if it was a thing. And I got a lot of pictures of artwork with Jesus in an astronaut suit, so I figured this would be a good one. But there you go. There's your 3. So we have 4 lovely people on the list to win tonight. Thanks, Scratchy. I was super happy with it. I spend way too much time on that too. So we have 4 lovely people on the list tonight. We have the ever-present Luke Thornton, who did get his Fender Strat, which that was fun too. I'll tell that story later. Rob Sire, Chris is on the list, and Real One is on the list tonight too. So those are your 3. Brian. It's awesome. All right. So there you go. So there's your list. So tonight, again, because we took a poll last week and we did the turkey last week, we're going to do the dollar bills this week. So this is a good one to get going on. And I have prepared for this tonight. So we're in good shape. Last week I was not prepared for this one. So I'm kind of glad it was split and we got to do the turkey. Get these out of the way. So here is a dollar bill painting, which is essentially where we left it off last time. And that's, I'm happy you guys are letting me work on this on the feeds, because this is dangerous ground for me. This is going to the gym for me. And like I said, this painting means a lot to me. And it's a difficult painting for me to get through, emotionally and mentally and physically and all of the above. So my default is to put this painting off. And I'm glad I'm able to work on it with you, because you guys are keeping me honest with it. You're keeping me going on it. So that's it. So again, if you're not familiar with this painting, the idea for this really came to me because of a lot of things that I was going through way back in 2005. So I started this painting Never finished it. Not this very painting. I'm going to show you the original painting in a second. And that painting I started and never finished, and then I started a second version of it, never finished that one, and then I said, you know what, I'm getting this one done. So 2026 is going to see this painting finished, whether it kills me or not. So what's interesting about this painting, before I get into painting, we're going to work more on this bill here because it's going along great. The interesting thing about this painting, like I started it in 2005, so that was 20 years ago that I started this painting. And a lot of people will look at, like I've been doing this for a long time now, and a lot of people who are, especially people who are starting in their art thing, look at someone who's been doing it for a long time and assume they've always been doing it at a certain level, all along the way. That is not true, and I'm going to show you that because, again, I'm using the same exact reference, and I'm going to show you what this painting looked like 20 years ago. So first off, let me switch to I'm going to switch and zoom in for a second. Just going to line up this camera real quick so you can see it, because up close is what we want to see with this. And that will give me time to open up my cheers too. All right, there we go. So there's the up close part of the part we're going to be working on tonight, right? So when I started this painting, I was actually kind of working on the same bit of it. And so it's interesting. So here's the whole painting, and I'll explain a little bit about it. This painting originally was a lot bigger. This is was originally 20 by 30. It was on a canvas, I believe. And it was all airbrush. There was no paintbrush because that's what I was doing back then. Not that I wasn't using paintbrush, but for this one, I just leaned heavy on the airbrush. And I got, I did a bunch of different things. At that time, I wanted to add a little bit more chaos to it. So there's more of that fire in the background. The background is much more active. And then the whole canvas, not canvas, but the horizon line of this is tilted at about a 23 degree angle. And that was to give this whole thing much more movement, and I wanted a lot more chaos in this. So that's changed with the new one, but it's still the same exact photo that I took, reference photo that I took back in 2005. I knew I wanted to do this painting. I set up the dollar bills and took the photo. So you got that in your head now? But what I want you to do, I'm going to switch to a close-up of that bill we're working on today, and I want you to look at that close-up. So if you get a look on that, especially like the back side of the bill down below where where it says States, essentially, and also the little engraving between the one and everything. Now, keep in mind, this is a much bigger painting. Those dollar bills, those bills are probably about 10 inches across. And that's the level of detail that I was okay with and that I could get back then, 20 years ago. So now, fast forward to today, there's been a lot of change. There's a lot of growth. I've learned a lot in those 20 years, and I've applied a lot of that. And you get better. You just get better. So don't. My point is, if you feel like you're at a spot where you're never going to get where you want to get, just know that if you keep putting the time in and you keep enjoying it, you'll get there. And there won't be a time when you're not learning. Like I look at this and then I look at some other people's work and I'm like, I have a lot of work to do, So hang in there. That was what I wanted to kind of go over. Plus I wanted to kind of show you the actual painting from before. I don't have the original canvas anymore, again, because it's a weirdly emotional thing for me, so I'm sure I got rid of that. Honey, someone say dollar bill. Thank you, honey. And I didn't get there. I'm going to try to zip back to there. I did get Brian. Thank you, Brian. I will have a drink on you. I saw that. Thanks. Enzo, what's up? Chris Garcia, cheers to you, sir. Who else did I miss that jumped in? Anthony Durkin, Tony D, what's up, my man? Hey, Ron, if I didn't say hello, Ron. Hello, Ron. Who else did I miss? There's Patrick. Patrick. Mr. Cheese Grits, I am working on that sketch. I am super excited about that pack lock now. My goal, Cheese, is to give you something that you can't give away. That's now my goal. So I have decided on the steampunk thing. I've decided to kind of make it a weird self-portrait type thing. I'm super happy with where it's going. Not because it's self-portrait, because it was easy to use me as a model than it was to try to find an image. But anyway, I'll show you the sketch once I get it done. And then once I get the sketch done, I'll be ready to rock on it. So, all right. So we were working on this part last time, which you can't see because the camera's not on it. I think what I'll probably end up doing is continuing on, in that same area. So let me switch out to here for you. Again, what I was pointing out, we worked on this area last time. So we're going to work on the upper section just so I can move the camera out of my way and also a little bit closer. There is a lot of glare on this because of the way the paint is. So again, I'll show you that in a second. Once I get this lined up, I want to do this section. I want to do this section right in here because I'm having fun with that, with a little bit of light and the 12 and everything. So we'll start there, I think. Nice, Tony. Yeah, Adam, and you're never not going to feel that way if you're lucky. So that's the thing. If you ever feel like you're better than everyone else, then you're stuck. You're stuck. You're never gonna move on, and that's a sucky place to be. But if you always feel like, holy crap, everything's better than mine, that is also a sucky feeling. Hello, Bobby. However, if you put into perspective that that's what's going on, it'll make it a little bit easier for you. I say a little bit. It still sucks when you see someone who, you've been working really hard, and then all of a sudden you run across someone who's just absolutely killing it, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? Again, my buddy Keith Hansen has always said, he wants, when other people look at his work, he wants either one of two reactions. He wants them to be inspired and want to do better, or he wants them to quit. And and that's it. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, well, one more thing as I keep going. I got a very cool Christmas present. And this is going to make its appearance in a live feed at some point. I never do these, but I saw this, and then I got one for Christmas. This is one of those little tiny figures from one of the games. I have the thing here. Here it is. This is from Pathfinder Battles. And I am totally painting this on a live stream. So I don't do this. And I've seen some pretty insane people that do paint this, including, I know Scott McKay's into the Warhammer stuff. But I'm painting that. I don't know when. That's happening in 26 too. All right, I need my photograph. Fotografia. There we go. Is that the one I want? Yeah, that'll work. Oh my gosh. I love this little super highlight right here. The sun hitting that. And then bouncing up on that bill. That is so lovely. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to drop this. You guys aren't going to really see this, unfortunately, because it's off to the side. But when needed, I will move it over so that you guys can see it. Why did I do that? What the hell is that? Did I think that was that? Because that's clearly not in the real thing. I mean, it's pretty dark there. So I'll be able to make up for that, but why? I guarantee that's what I thought. I thought that was the little thing. Anywho, that's what we're going to work on today. That little area. Yeah, that's what we want to work on. Hell yeah. All right, good. I think what I'm going to do to get warmed up on this, because it's a good thing to get warmed up, especially since I haven't worked on this in a while. Steve, have you ever considered a calendar with your 543 prints? Brian, that's an amazing idea. I have not. What could go wrong? Exactly, honey. Embrace the suck. Tater, 100%. Yeah, that's an awesome idea. The problem is I don't know if I could pick 12 of them. Maybe I could do like 10 in each month, or maybe less. They'd have to be a grid, so 9 or 4 of them per month. Just kind of all in one thing. I could do that. What would be even better is if I had enough from each month that they were suggested in that month. That would involve work and I don't know. I got too much going on. All right. I've already got the orange here. See the little bit of orange in here? I've already got the green in here too, which is the reflection going off of that. So I think I could just mess with some, I'm going to go with black, but I'm going to add a little bit of umber to it. So yes, it's your favorite blumber once again. And I'm going to use the Micron B to do this. So it's going to be pretty thin. So let's start with a little bit of black. Let's go with a really reduced black. Yeah, look at you guys go. So everyone who makes a 543 suggestion this week is on the list for next week. How about that? It's so funny because you guys, like at the end of the year, we have like 4 people on the list. Wait till you see next week. You guys don't see when, you know, because I keep a spreadsheet of everyone who makes a suggestion. And but I don't print that off because, you know, it'd just be extra paper. But next week you're going to see it. So we don't need the palette cam because we're not going to be doing any paintbrush. So I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber, though, to the palette. No, raw umber. Burnt umber, sorry. So I can add a little bit of burnt umber to this black. The other thing I'm going to be doing, and I'm planning on heading back to New England at some point in January. I'm going to also try to swing into Createx because they are actually on the way back to Massachusetts. They're in Connecticut, but they're on the way, kind of near Springfield, Massachusetts. So I want to find out what's new with them, and I got some questions, and so some things are going to hopefully change with formula-wise for me. So, Mr. King, what is happening? Look at you guys go. Michael McClung, hello, Mike. It was good hanging out. And Sean, I'm super excited. I'm getting close on the Tokyo painting, which means yours is next. So, for Open Studio. All right, so this is black with a little bit of burnt umber in it. So the question is do I take that out because it's wrong? Yeah, I'm gonna have to because I don't know what I was thinking with that. That's super weird. Dropping the ball. All right, so we're gonna take that out real quick first, which is okay. It's easy. I got some white here. Again, you guys can't see the palette. Well, then Steve, just turn on the palette. For crying out loud. I'm gone till March 10th, so I'm not sure of the time when you can tune it. Well, I hope that's cool. But it's going to be a little bit because I still have to finish the other ones, so don't worry about it. It's not going to be too crazy. There we go. Palette column. Is that in the way? It sort of is, but I'll figure it out. But anyway, I have white up here, white in 3 different spots. This is probably the most usable white, so I grabbed some of that. This is the burnt umber that I just put out there. So what I'm looking for is a kind of orangey tan color. We'll start with a little bit darker, and then we'll bump it up. Because there's going to be shadow here, so I don't have to, you don't have to be too crazy, but I just got to take the curse off that sharp black line that I painted in there. I guarantee that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that was the emblem that's right here. You guys got enough light on that? Let me lighten that up a little bit. This is going to be washed out, but you guys, it's better that you see what's going on than get the actual color. I'll jump out to the overhead camera at some point so you can see the actual color. And again, you get this super glare on the background too, which ultimately won't be there when this is cleared. Now to clear this, normally I would use, my small gun for that. It's still going to have UVLS satin on it. However, what I think I'm going to do, because there was a lot of texture here on this background because of the way the paint built up, so I'm going to first hit this with the Autoborn sealer, just a clear Autoborn sealer. And that's going to really seal this texture up before I do the matte. The last coat will be UVLS matte. And again, that's going to be with a spray gun. There you go. So that's good. That kind of takes the curse off of that. So now when I go do the shading on that or the shadow, you won't even see it. I know, Tater, you don't know how hard it is. Svi, what's up, brother? There we go. I love Svi. His work is amazing. But back to Tater. Yeah, Tater, you don't know how hard it is not to put a Godzilla in that painting. For crying out loud. I love it. All right. So that's good. So again, that didn't have to be perfect. It just had to take the curse off that. Make sure I'm focused on here because you guys are at a little bit of an angle. I want to make sure I'm focused on the right part. All right. So what I'm going to do to be safe with this, so I'm not sure how this is going to spray and what it's going to be like, I'm going to start just off the edge here because the edge is like, I don't want this to like be the wrong color and then I get this on the edge and then I'm screwed. So I'm going to start inside here a little bit so that I can kind of test out the airbrush, make sure it's flowing the right way, and if something goes wrong, it's not, it's not terrible. And so far so good. It might even need a little bit of 40-50 to kind of reduce it out a little bit. Make it a little bit easier to spray, but so far so good. It also doesn't feel brown enough, so there's some orange missing in this too. So again, this is all good to kind of figure out now. So we're going to do that. I'm going to add a little bit of, this is red oxide right here. I'm going to add some of that to it too. That'll give me that orangey, rusty feeling. So everyone have a good holiday. If you do holiday, I hope so. Hope everyone's getting ready for 26. We all got to do that. So I'm looking forward to 26. I'm looking forward to, getting back to New England more than I did in 25. It was crazy. There's a lot of changes here. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting things settled and being able to get back to Massachusetts. Marge is traveling a lot with her new job, but it's going to lighten up eventually and we'll be able to do some cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to that too. Actually have sort of a life, which is nice. Tend to work too much. Shocker. I'm going to add more orange to this. It's still not great. Oh, that's super orange now. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do too is I am going to add a little bit of 40-50 to it. I mentioned this on the on Open Studio coming up because I recorded a couple of them today. I'm not a big New Year's resolution type of guy. Usually I always have a list of things that need to be done and need to change and, things I want to do better. So, it's not, it doesn't take the new year for me to be all crazy with that. Oh, that's cool, Robert. That's awesome. There's Brother Robert. Brother Robert, what is up, my friend? Brother Robert, what? All right, so try not to talk sports, but Brother Robert, how do you feel about your New England Patriots clinching the AFC East? We got to have some help from the Chargers to get the 1 seed in the AFC, but it was a wild week in football, that's for sure. All right, let's try this again. So this has got a lot more orange in it, or red oxide. And I also put a little bit of 40-50 in it with a little bit of extra reducer. And that's what I was kind of mentioning to you before about 26 and changing stuff a little bit. Like I over-reduced the black and the white a lot, right? I just kind of put reducer in it and it works. But I want to kind of work out a formula with a little bit of 40-50 in there as well, just to help things smooth out a little bit and also to keep the paint a little bit more stable. Like I haven't had any problems with it, scratching off or any kind of problems like that. However, there is, a good chance for that because of the way I abuse the paint, meaning over-reduce it. All right, I've got this now and it's too orange, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm just going to have to go over it a little bit with some black. Not a bad thing. guys close enough for this? You want to be closer? That was a real question. That wasn't rhetorical. Do you want to be closer on this? I can do that. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, Robert. I was just talking with your lovely sister about that as well. Yes, that is actually on the list. Actually on the list. So yeah, I joke with Sandy a lot about. I am going to move you guys closer because I want to. I do joke with Sandy about my passport expired, for everyone who is wondering, and I joke with Sandy about how I'm always working on getting it, a new passport so I can go up to Canada. And it's it's definitely on that same list. I need to make that happen. Bob, I think the last time I was there was your birthday. That may be too close. Oops. That's great and everything, but I think that's too close. Yeah, Bob, I think that's the last time I was up there. Bob celebrated his 28th birthday, and I went up to visit him, so that was fun. Oh, that's better right there, Steve-O. Wait, Dan, what's up? Wait, what happened with Dan? I'm going to scroll back. Dan, what happened? I can't find it. Oh my gosh, Dan, there it is. Dan, I'm so sorry. Oh, wait, what? I don't know what's going on. Adam the Woo. Oh, all right. I don't know what's going on right now. Well, if... all right, I'll shut up. I'll wait. All right. Orangey black, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing orangey black. There's a lot going on in the shadow. Again, this is a lot of what 20 years ago Steve didn't really see in the painting and missed all this, which is fine because 30-something-year-old Steve, almost 40-year-old Steve, there's really no excuse for that. 40-year-old Steve should have been able to see this stuff. But anyway, maybe 40-year-old Steve wasn't as patient as 57-year-old Steve, 47-year-old Steve, whatever I'm trying to say. But in any event, yeah, I got it now. So a lot of this, this kind of grain in the paper, I just didn't put in. And all right, so this, a bit of history. When I was 40, I had already been in, and hopefully this doesn't come across as bragging. It's supposed to prove a point or illustrate a point. By the time I was 47, I had already been in Airbrush Action Magazine and Airbrush Step by Step and AB Mag and Airbrush The Magazine, and so I'd already been in all those magazines, and that's the work I was putting out, which is fine. But again, it's like there's always more to do. There's always more to do, and I'm super happy about that. Oh, this is very thin now. I gotta be careful with this because it is ultra thin, which means it's gonna want to spider web everywhere, which you guys are close enough to have already seen it do. But if I just kind of back off a little bit and let it do its thing, basically watch for that spider webbing and know that I have to slow down. When I start seeing that, the wet paint skating across the surface, I know that, okay, I got to back off a little bit. I can't put it on as heavy as I was. There we go. That's better. Yeah, this is too orange and too light now, but that's okay. That's totally okay because I can go over it again with black to get, the proper value when I'm done. Because there is a lot of orange in this, which I would have had to add in after. Again, it's a reflection of the teak desk and the orange wall behind it. these letters are super orange. Hell, I don't even know. I'm assuming the U.S. dollar bill has changed design-wise in 20 years. It probably has. These probably aren't even... These are like vintage bills now, which is crazy. I got plenty of orange down in here. Here's the 12. 12 needs to be darkened up too. How's that looking? That's good. I love the green and the orange there. That's just such a good thing. Ria, I thanked you earlier for your Christmas gift to last week. Your super thanks. Thank you so much again. Who else did I miss? Todd's here. Hello, Todd. And Chris is here. Hello, Chris. What's up? Chris is on the list to win tonight. That 25% chance, which is pretty good odds considering. All right, there's a crease here and it's pretty bold. It's actually got some brighter parts to it too. So I'm going to drop those in with a paintbrush just because. What is that, yellow ochre-y? Yep. Still a palette game on? Yeah. I'm going to put some yellow ochre out. The highlights have kind of a yellow cast to it, so we're going to use yellow ochre for that. Now, you know, the question is could you use an airbrush for the highlights? Yeah, definitely. But it's just for the amount of highlights that are going on in here, it's going to be quicker to do this with the paintbrush. There's just a few of them too, and they're right on the crease. They actually turn kind of green as they go down too, which is fun. See that? Yeah, you guys are good. I want to make sure you're still on the, still in the view. And you know, I do these highlights in the middle of everything. You know, a lot of people will wait till the very end to do the bright highlights and that kind of thing. But I like to bury them in there too sometimes. So that'll determine what happens with the highlight. Like if it was just a bright white highlight, like on a piece of chrome, those I might put in at the very end because, you know, they're super bright white and they stand up on everything. But highlights like this, which are kind of buried, you know, these get put in somewhere in the middle so that as I'm putting in the other, you know, like the dark, the black around this and the this orange color, they kind of overspray a little bit over the highlights too. So they kind of tone them down a little bit and blend them in because that's really what's going on in the reference photo. Oh, there's also some along here, but are they green? Nah, they're still kind of yellowy. This might not be bright enough. Yeah, there are so many details that are just I'm giving myself a hard time to, you know, 20 year ago Steve. I'm sure I saw those things, but you know, it's at that time I was just like, well, they're not necessarily important to the story, so I'm going to leave out those micro details. So I'm sure that's what was really going on at the time. Because I look at the Scotch bottle painting, and that had plenty of detail in it, more than the dollar bill painting. My guess is, again, that wait, what's up, Bob? Thank you, sir. Oh, it was your retirement. Oh, that's still kind of too long ago. Oh, man. What else did I miss? Is that wicked opaque red out of the bottle for the highlights? Yeah, so that is opaque white for those little highlights. And I mixed a little yellow ochre with it. Svi, have a good night. I know you're on the other side of the world from us, so thanks for hanging in there. John Wick, I love that painting. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think I got everyone. Okay. Yeah, so that's good. That's good for that. Again, that feels really bright. Let me show you what it really looks like. There it is right there. See that crease right here? How it's just brighter than everything else. So I've got that in now. But now as I keep going on this, I'm gonna that will just naturally calm down by the just the fact that I'm painting. I think I'm gonna grab the Infinity, the CR Plus, because I don't want to readjust the black that I just changed, but I want that regular opaque black. So I'm gonna use the other detail brush to kind of offset that. That way I can kind of work on both at the same time, because this new one, the one I just made up, is very orange, and that's fine. It's working, but I want to be able to balance this whole area at the same time with the black. There we go. Oh, what I should have done. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Michael, your tumbler is coming out cool. Michael's painting this enormous black bear on this insulated tumbler type thing. I don't ever pull this brush out, and I don't know why, because it's great. Let's get that flowing. Did I reduce that too much? Not reduce, I added 40, 50 and stuff to it. Did I? Oh no, oh, that's really, really subtle. Oh, I like that. That's fun. I couldn't even see it. It was so subtle. All right, that's perfect. It's just what I want, because I've already got basically, you know, if you've been watching a lot of like the turkey painting with the underpainting and all that, that's what that green was, and the orange, that's the underpainting, you know, so that way it's already on there. So now all I'm doing is kind of messing around with the value of it. It's between that blackish orange that I had just a second ago and this full-on black. So, it's already got that feel, that orange and green. So now I can just kind of mess around with the value of it and the details. And it takes a lot of the pressure off. You know, if I had to kind of make a dark orangey black and then, tinted orange and then tinted green and all that other stuff, there'd be a lot to kind of take in. And where this now, all I got to really worry about is the overall value, how light and dark it is, and the texture of that, the paper, the grain of the paper, which I keep calling it paper. I think bills are more fabric than paper. There's a lot of, cloth involved in it. So, but we're going to call it paper anyway. So this painting has no timetable other than it has to be done, I would love to get to the point where this is, I really want to have this done in 26. I don't want this to go any farther than 26. But I also understand that this painting is also going to be done right. I'm not going to push it at all if I want everything right on it. So that means it's going to take a while. So I just got to be, vigilant in working on it. But I would love to have this ready for the summertime shows, like the Ashtabula show, which would be great, or the Manifest show, which would also be great. Thomas Thompson, happy, 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 happy. Oh, I know what Ian's response is. I'm super happy your wife is doing better there, buddy. There we go. Okay. This brush, or the paint had kind of settled in this brush, and it wasn't really spraying the right way. So I'll show you what I did next time it happens, because it will happen again. It's pretty easy. You just kind of blow the paint back in the brush and then blast it out a little bit, and it usually flushes it all out. So let me work on the spine of this fold, and I'll kind of show you what I mean about that highlight. So the highlights are in, they're established. So what I can do is I can just kind of work on the value around them. And then just by default, that tiny, tiny bit of overspray from what I'm doing will kind of soften those highlights up. Just a little bit. And that's the goal. And you know, it gives me a chance to adjust the strength of those highlights with the airbrush rather than the paintbrush. And trust me, for me, that's so much easier. You know, if I have to adjust with the paintbrush, it means I have to mix that exact color. And that takes time and it takes effort. But with this, I can kind of creep up on it. I can just kind of mess with it. And then once it's where it needs to be, it's done. You know, I don't have to mix 8,000 different colors trying to find the right highlight color, you know? It's got orange in it? No, it's got a lot of blue in it. This is fun. And I've kind of resigned this painting to, again, I'm going to put in everything I could as if it was a miniature painting, but just on a bigger scale. I do want to eventually do a painting that's roughly about 30 by 40, maybe on some linen, you know, canvas, but we'll see. Video, what's up? Look at Video coming in with the 543 suggestion. No, that's awesome, Video. You can suggest stuff I've already done. I don't think I've ever done a Spitfire cockpit. I've done the Spitfire a lot, though. I love that. So welcome. And Video, if you are someone we already know, I know YouTube changed all the names of everyone, so let us know. And even if you're not, welcome. That's awesome. And I'm gonna, while I'm working here, I'm gonna say this again because you guys are absolutely amazing. So my baby channel, you know, with just over 2,000 subscribers, has a freakishly large interaction rate, and that is amazing for the growth of the channel. You know, everyone kind of looks at subscribers, number of subscribers, and you know, while that is absolutely crazy important, what is way, way, way more important is interaction. You know, when you guys hit the like button, when you guys are commenting right now, certainly the super chats, not only, you know, it helps keep the lights on here, but YouTube knows that's going on. And so when you have a small channel like mine with the interaction it throws everything off. It makes them push my stuff out there way more than a channel with 2,000 subscribers should have. So I thank you all. That's huge. So every time you guys do that, just know you are having a huge impact on the growth of this channel, and that's more than I could ever ask for. You guys are amazing. So as I'm creeping into this green area, it's still the same thing. I'm using this black. The black's got a lot of brown in it. It's nice because the orange would have been, the orange and green are close enough to orange and red. It's complementaries that they do some pretty funky stuff, which would be fine, but this needs to stay with that green. It needs to hold on to that green. So this brownish black, the regular opaque black, which has a little bit of a brown cast to it, does a perfect job. And this brown obviously goes with the orange, so it acts as a seamless value adjuster in a way. So what I want to keep doing too is, you guys can't see it because you're up close, but if you're back here, so what I'm doing is I'm like, my head's right on it when I'm working on this, and then what I'll do is I'll lean way back and get this kind of view. So obviously you can see that the reference photo here, which has higher contrast, so I can see what's going on, but still, it's the shadow area of this bill is a lot darker than I have it, and that's perfect. That's just what I want, because I can always, it's so much easier to add contrast and add, you know, darks and lights than it is to have to back up. Like if I make this too dark with all that detail in there, that sucks. That's a crazy repair. That blows. So I'd much rather creep up on where I want this dark to be. I don't necessarily want it to be as dark as it is right here, because I love the way the light kind of bounces around in these folds and creates these cool, like the green and the orange and the blue all in there too. So I think I'm going to kind of keep balancing it until that feels good. Plus my background is a whole lot darker than what I originally had in the photograph, which will also play off of this too. This really lights up now against this really dark background, where it lights up here but not like mine. So that also, is kind of what we're looking at too. So there you go. Is Honey yelling at me yet? Is it 7? Is Marge in the house? Are we cheersing anything? See, videos. All right, I know who Video is. I just don't know who Video is, because if Video knows all that stuff, I love it. Yes, Marge is here. She's actually getting some stuff done. So she's not close to what we're doing down here, but she's in the house. So she put on the crock pot this morning, and it's going to be ready around, we eat late, so it's going to be ready around like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it smells so good right now, like viciously good, like evil good. Like I want to just stop painting and stick my face in it. Yeah, I'm excited. Marge, like I said, she's got a new position at her job, and it's super challenging. She's lined up for it. She's going to do great at it. There's a shadow here that is darker, like really dark. I'm going to paintbrush that in too, because I'm trying to do it with the airbrush, but it's not catching up that fast. But back to Marge. Yeah, she's got this brand new position, and there's a lot to it, but ultimately, once she gets rolling on it, it's going to open up time for her to do the things that she really wants to do, which is fantastic. So she's going to be doing more art. One of her bucket list things is to get into the Birds and Art Show in Leigh Yawkey Woodson Museum in Wisconsin. So it'll be great for her to have time to start working on stuff like that. So yeah, it's an exciting time for her too, and I love that. There we go. So that worked out better. I did that with the L Paintbrusho. Oh, I will definitely. Yeah, I will definitely. Oh, I missed Gary's comment. Where's Gary? Gary, what's your comment? Yeah, I miss a lot of comments. Gary, what's your comment? I'm scrolling. Where is Mr. Gary? I don't know. I'm already back to Bob's super thanks. Gary, give me your comment, or someone let me know what his question was, and I will or comment, and I will be sure to respond this time. Yeah, the comments are way over there. I gotta figure out how to move them. No, what I really need is like Scott McKay's NASA setup. I think since I've cut the black in the brush, I'm gonna kind of work on the 12 a little bit too, because I want to. I've got this cool highlight color still. And this highlight kind of pops up around the edge of this number 2. I honestly think these little highlights and things are artifacts in the digital camera that I had. Don't forget this. I took this photo again back in 2005, and I used a digital camera, but it was a digital camera from 2005. So I think, some of the things that I'm seeing are little digital artifacts, but I like them. I'm going with it because it feels good. It's just like I'm gonna kind of go with what's there. This has got some blue shift to it, but should be fine. I may take care of that. And yes, you can get blue shift with paintbrush too. It's just not as noticeable overall as it is with the airbrush. The airbrush, it's super noticeable. Yeah, these are definitely artifacts because this white one over here has got like a purple cast to it. It's weird. Well, I like it. I like it a lot. There we go. It's almost like the outside edge compensated for the darkness of the number, which is kind of cool. Patty, have a great night. I saw that. Ria, hello. Oh, gotta run. Have an amazing week. Awesome. Your Mac use admin software to make it easier soon. Oh no, London. I have an iPhone. It's my first iPhone. I've always been a Samsung guy, but I haven't got to the point where I use a Mac now. I should. Oh, there you go. Cheese grits. Gary Cheese. Is there anyone on the list that has been on all year that has not won a 543? If they don't win, I'll buy them. Oh, jeebus, Gary. No, Gary, we're good. We're good. Everyone who's won one has been good. Luke has been around for a while, and Luke hasn't won yet. Where's my list? I know Rob Sire, who's a regular over on Scott's feed, is on here. Chris is on here. Real One is on here. So yeah, the 4 people who are on here have been on for a little while. So yeah, we'll see what happens tonight. But that's awesome, Gary. You're too kind. I got it, Brian. Thank you. Awesome. I just saw it. You guys are the best. But we'll see what happens. All right. This, you guys can't see that, so we're going to keep working on here. I keep seeing things, which is great. You know, again, so I'm not going to let them go. I'm just going to keep working on stuff, and if I see stuff, I'll keep fixing it until this painting, I can just say, oh yeah, this painting's done now. All right, so I've got a little bit of red oxide in here because this highlight has some orange to it. We'll do that. And like I said, the other side has a little bit of violet to it, so we're going to do that too. As soon as I find it. There it is. So this is red violet, which is perfect. So what I'm doing is I just grab a lot of reducer and then just really wash this out so I get just almost like a violet stain. And that way I can do the same thing. I can kind of creep up on this and not, you know, hit it with full blast violet. There we go. Steve, do you read all the suggestions after feed? Yeah, Dan, I really try to. And what I do is when I'm going through looking for comments, I especially look for questions that I might have missed. So I know, Michael, I usually had, well, in the beginning I had my Marge's daughter, Lachlan, was going through the whole feed and doing all the 543s and everything. But she's been cranking at school, so I relieved her of her duties so she can be the crazy geneticist that she's lining up to be. So I do it all myself again, which is fun. But it also gives me a chance, like I said, if I miss a question, you know, it's nice to be able to what I try to do is I try to write it down so that I can answer it at the beginning of the following week. But yeah. Oh, that's right. I was going to work on the 12. So I'm going to use straight black for this. I just want to kind of sharpen it up, and also it's a little bit more robust than I have it here. So we're going to add some of that in here too. This is, I can feel it though. This is definitely a painting that I need to clear time on my own to just kind of like spend 4 or 5 hours, you know, just getting lost in it, you know? Again, and I hope if you paint, I hope you have a painting that's similar to this where, you know, it's like, I don't know, mentally this is something that I need to get done. But also, you know, the process for this is, I'm not going to say, you know, you turn your brain off, because you don't. but there is a lot of rinse and repeat. It's just basically trying to like make it look like what it's supposed to. And there is some problem solving and stuff, but it's not like the razor blade paintings. I have to physically figure things out and wrestle with things and have it go sideways all the time, that kind of thing with those miniature paintings. But with this kind of painting, it's not like that. It's kind of just like, I don't know, it's like, think of any repetitive thing that you do that you can kind of just enjoy. I use the example of, like, if you're into jigsaw puzzles and stuff like that, it's a lot like that for me. That's, and I get that a lot. People say, how can you have a lot of patience, how can you stick with something that long? And again, for me, it's like the process is enjoyable. It doesn't feel like a chore. So spending a whole lot of time on something is not really a big deal. All right. That's really good. Yeah, nice. People get lost in the painting. I'm always fixing mistakes. But Brian, that's it. I mean, yeah, fixing the mistakes is part of being lost in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, go with it. Go with it. It's absolutely it. Oh, yeah. Like I said, they're not always easy, but they're, it's just something you can kind of mess with. And again, you might not. I'm saying that works for me. You don't have to be a painter like that. You know what I mean? I mean, you watch, like, well, let's take Scott, for instance. Scott usually gets his paintings done in 1 or 2 live streams. He sets them up so that he can get those done fast. It's a lot like the 543s for me. Like, I know I can get those done in a certain amount of time. This isn't like that. You know what I mean? It's like a whole different animal. So you may find that you're just more comfortable working fast and producing, more work. That's way cool too. So it's just a matter of, like, kind of figuring out what makes you happy in all this art stuff. All right, so it's a minor thing, but so I've got a little bit of a highlight right at the top as this rolls over. The thing that makes it work in the original, and I'll slide this over so you can see it, is that the background is obviously lighter than the bill. So there is no highlight there. So the contrast between the shadow and the background is what does it. On mine, that's not going to work because the background is darker. So the question is do I lose that, or do I emphasize it with the little highlight there that I've got? I'm kind of feeling emphasize it, but the way I'm going to do that is with a little bit of orange. I'll tone that down with orange, so it'll still be a little bit darker, but it'll still work. It all makes me happy. My hands are on par with my mind. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm sure, Michael, I saw that. Yeah, happy accidents. Yeah, Adam, that's pretty much the story of my life. Good old Bob Ross, Bob knew. This is lovely. This is working out great. Yeah, that orange pops up on this little engraved, this little seal too. So we're gonna run with that, the orange part of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint in the value first, and then I'll eventually get just some red oxide to just kind of float along this top edge for me. Lovely. So again, just keep leaning back. I want to make sure that I'm not getting too dark because there is so much going on in here now. Again, if I do this too dark, there's not like, oh, I'll just add a little bit of light to it. It's a lot more work than that, and I don't want to do that. You know, I'd rather just sneak up on it and have it be pretty much where it needs to be, and that's it. Right, this guy here is very blue. This little area right here. I can use the black first. I can get it started with the black. Oh, I know what I need. I need like some of those smart glasses, you know, that are just clear, so that I can have the comments like reading like a heads up display in front of me. That's what I really need. Because I can't, it doesn't matter. I mean, like if I had the comments above me, like on the wall over the easel, I'd still have to look up, and you know, that's pretty much the same as what's going on with the tablet off to the left. No, I need like a heads up display. That would be amazing. I have a lot of orange in here, and it's not orange. It's actually blue. I feel like I got to fix that before I go too much farther. Which means I have to pull out another airbrush. Let me fix a highlight there too while I'm bouncing around like a maniac. Oh, nice, Adam. Yeah, Adam. So that book, I wrote that in 2009. So that was around the same time I started this painting. There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that's just timeless in that. You know, it's true now as it was then. There is also some outdated stuff too, especially with gear. Like there's a chart in the back that has a bunch of airbrushes in it. A lot of those airbrushes are not around anymore, but some of them are. Like all the Iwatas are still there. There's some new ones in Iwata. I think I have FB in there, maybe. I know I had Rich Pen in there, but they're why not my paintbrush? Damn it. Yeah, FB's. I mean, Rich Pen scaled way back, so I don't think they're doing too much. I know Mike Learn brought the 222 back, and I believe, who was it? Someone help me out. Someone brought back the small. What is it? The what am I thinking of? The small cupped, like my Micron B, but just for Rich Pen. I think it's a 212, maybe. When Mike's is the 222, but it used to be 213. I know, so many numbers. So yeah. So those charts aren't great now because so much has changed. Like there's so many new companies out there. But the getting it down and the things you can do, and the basic structure, the taking apart the airbrushes, all that's pretty much the same. So yeah, it's that book ran its course, and now it's in the realm of someone somewhere bought the rights to it and just is printing it and putting it on Amazon. I don't see anything from that. But that's okay. It's not like it's not like that's an unnatural thing. That's kind of what goes on with that kind of stuff. The publisher originally was Wolfgang Publications. They own that book. You know what I mean? So all right. So I'm still working with the paintbrush. I'm going to kind of add a little bit around this highlight because it's pretty tight, and I don't want to get it. I don't want to get too much overspray on this highlight because this highlight is really, really bright. Oh, what's that right there? I don't know what that is. It's extra. Rusty Spoon, what's up? Oh, Oh man, am I ignoring honey again? Look, it's 10 past 7. Why don't we give some stuff away? What are you guys doing? All right. Sean, have a good one. I saw that. Happy New Year to you, buddy. 7:15. I know. I'm terrible. Terrible. So I can't have nice things. So let's move this painting because we don't want to. Well, anyway, that's what it's looking like so far. And I'm loving this. Let me get the lights off, the glary lights off, so you get more of a. Again, that's still really glare. This is really a dark brown, but yeah, that's making me happy. It's making me real happy. So we'll put this aside. We'll pull this out. We'll give away some painting. Again, we'll show you these real quick. Mr. Brian Moore with his Space Suit Jesus. Again, that's from, I used the Jesus from Dogma, the Buddy Jesus. Oh, Buddy Christ, that's what it is. There we go. Ooh, now I'll put the light back on it. And then I'll focus it so you guys will get close up. Here he is. Yeah, so if you haven't seen Dogma, it's a funny movie. There he is. He's hanging out, floating in space, and that is Dad is my co-pilot. That goes there. Next up is Swamp Picker. Asked for a gator skull. This is the time lapse for this week. So if you want to see how I did this, this was fun because it was stencils, but it was all airbrush. I didn't use any paintbrush in this, so kind of get a feel for that one. It feels really blurry. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm about to fall over. That one's just called Gator, or as we say in New England, Gator. And then finally, Grouchy. It was Grouchy, right? With the umbrella? Yeah, Grouchy Lenny asked for discarded umbrella. Oops. Discarded umbrella in the rain. I knew exactly what I wanted for this one when I started it. So this one I was super happy with. And again, it took me a little bit longer, but I love the out of focus cars and then the umbrella kind of sitting there and all sad and everything. And that one's just called Sung in the Rain, after the Gene Kelly movie, Singing in the Rain. All right. Is Harley Quinn still available? Someone pick it. Real? That is an excellent question. I think Harley is still here. So if you win tonight, you can choose one of these, or you can I was going to say Harley, just like Real One just asked. You can go on my website and go through all the 543s and pick whatever you like. That's how it works here in 543 land. Let me entertain you. Hold on. Let me get this. Okay, that's what I want. All right. Get that. Oh, again, let's look at them real quick. I'll give you that again. There you go. Luke, Rob, Chris, and Rio. All right. Who's your winner? Number 3. Chris. Chris, you won. Wait, what is that? So congratulations, Chris. All right, wait. Here we go. Can we gift it? Yes, if you would like to gift it, you may. I will wait to see if that's what you really want to do, Chris. That's super cool of you. A Price is Right voice. Tater, I'll try. Actually, I can't. Chris, what do you think? You don't have to, Chris. You can certainly keep it. I'm waiting. Jump back to here so you don't have to look at the tiny list. Or the list. Because if, Chris, you really do want to do that, I'll draw another name. What do you think there, Chris? No pressure. Seriously, Chris. You won. So, but I don't want to move on if that's really what you want to do. No, there is no problem there. Jeez, that's funny though. Yeah, so that's it. So Chris, you can choose from the website. I'll tell you what, Real One's on right now. So he's here for the feed. So Real, you won too. How about that? So Chris and Real One both won. How about that? So Real, if you want Harley and it's on the site, it's all yours. Because it's the end of the year, and Real, you've been on a bunch, so so there we go. Not to take it away from Rob, but like I said, Real One's here, and he's been working it, so. There we go. Okay, yeah. So Chris, you can hold on to yours unless you want to, unless you want to gift that away. That's totally up to you. But I don't think Luke and Rob are here, so. Oh, you're awesome, Gary. Gary, how about this? Call me or send me a message after, and I will. We can talk about that. All right, so wait. All right, so Gary, if you're gonna, let's do this. If Gary's gonna buy one for Rob, then I will send one to Luke. How about that? Oh, Merry Christmas, D, I love you. How about that? All right, so that's everyone on the list. Everyone won. Thank you, Gary, that's super cool. Gary, you're awesome. All right, so there we go. So, Rob, if you would like one of these, you can pick one of these. But if you want Harley, let me know. I will take it off the list. Chris, if you want to go look at the website, you can check out those. There we go. Oh, Swamp's here. So Swamp, yeah, I'm going to take care of Luke because he's been on a lot, and I know he isn't here tonight, but he's been a regular for a while now, so. He gets one too. All right. Perfect. All right. Let's get back to it. Let's paint some stuff. Let's see, what time is it actually? Because let's go till about 7:30, and then I think that'll be good. If you, well, Chris and. I was just going to say Rob. No. Who am I thinking of? There we go. Yeah. Final Four, that's awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, Real, if you here's, you guys have been around, so you know how it works. Just send me a private message with the one you want and your shipping address, where I can ship that to. And then, that'll be great. Has anyone not won? I still have one this year I haven't picked. Bobby, you're awesome. Yeah, I'd have to look at the list, Bobby. But we can also do that next year if you'd like. That's amazingly generous of you. So Bobby, let me look at the list and see if there's someone who is on all the time and didn't win, but I honestly don't think there is. I think everyone who's been on a lot has won. That's the beauty of giving away like 50 of these things a year. Most of you guys will eventually win, and that's great. That's the whole point. Cool, Bobby. Yeah, so we can definitely, Bobby. I'll look and see what. Nice. 543 of your passport. That is proper ball busting right there. All right, yeah, let's do a little bit more on this, and then we'll let you New Year's Eve revelers get your pre-reveling going. Tater Salad wants a portrait of me. Tater, why would you want that? Nobody wants that. Tater, are you a lock picker? Because if you are, and well, like I said, my goal, and my goal is to make it so that Cheese cannot give away this lock. That's my goal. When he gets it, he'll be just like we'll give away something else. That's my goal. But anyway, the lock will have a pseudo self-portrait. Better than 543 my bank card, yeah. Social Security, I could do that too. You guys are awesome. All right, where am I at? I don't know what I'm doing. So Swamp, you can let Luke know that he can just send me a message, or you can send me a message if he figures something. Why is the 12 straight on the crease? It isn't. It is here, but down here it takes a little hook. I don't know. But here, that's a great question because, where is it? It's classic, you know, paint what you see. So here's the reference photo. And I'll tilt it so it's a little bit more towards you, but there's just the slightest hint of a crease at the top of that tube, but it's really the bottom of the tube that takes that turn, and this crease here kind of rides right across where the two turns, so it's not as noticeable, but yeah, it's kind of the weirdness of the way it is. Same thing with the one kind of rolls over that crease and not like folds in. It's kind of interesting. Good eye though. Yeah, I know, yeah, Chris, definitely. Cheese is over there giving away candy like he has a white panel van. Yeah, so everyone get their 543 suggestions in, because everyone's on the list next week. Everyone. All right. What am I doing? Paint stuff, doing the painting thing. Yeah, that is a little bit brighter there too. All right. So I'm going to brighten this right here. It's a little bit brighter than I have it. I like that. Even here too is a little bit. I was working on this, wasn't I? I was. Let's turn that back on. I know, yeah, Tater, there's roughly about 40 people 30 to 40 people that make suggestions per feed. So yeah, so next week everyone will be on that. But still, when you think about it, to grab, an original piece of art, if you have a 1 in 40 chance, that's really not bad. And again, if it's my way of saying thank you to the people that are doing all that interacting and commenting and all that fun stuff. So it's my way of saying thanks, So I think it's great. There we go. Darken that up a little bit. Need some green too. And again, like I talked about before, I can see that there may be a time when it's just not possible to do the giveaway like I do. If we get 200 people in the live stream at some point, it would take me all that time to do the whole setup for that during the week and comments and all that stuff. So I mean, it's possible that there will be a time when this doesn't happen, but for now I'm going to keep doing it till it doesn't make any sense to do it. I don't like that. I don't know why I put that in. So we're going to kind of lessen that and move it out. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We're just going to keep rolling. And, you know, you never know. Like, I don't know if it gets super huge, you know, then and it gets to the point where I can actually, like, hire someone to take care of all that, then that's a possibility, too. Because I'm having fun doing the 543s. I can't see not doing them, you know, in some way, shape, or form. Oh, what's this? This is the brown one. I don't want this one. I mean, I can use this one here. Yeah. So we'll use it here for a minute since I just grabbed it. But you see how orange this one is? Oh, this one might work. Yeah, this is super orange. So this one might work up here where I said I had to kind of orange that edge up. Yeah, that does work there. That's lovely. Good. Your suggestions, though, and I say it all the time, and I'm not blowing smoke, the suggestions you guys come up with are awesome. Like there are more suggestions that I would like to paint that I don't have time to. So you guys have been killing it, as usual. It's fun because sometimes, you know, like if I get jammed or if I don't have a feed, that's really fun because I get to go back and pick one of the 543s that I wanted to do but didn't get a chance to. So that's always fun too. All right, so this orange plays into here, but there's also a lot of green in here too, so I don't want to go too crazy with that shadow. So set up that underpainting with the orange. What else is going on? What else we got? Awesome, Bobby. Let's hook up the beginning of the year, and we'll figure out what you want to do there. That's awesome, buddy. Just looking at making sure I didn't miss anything. Do we get dibs to buy if we've ever chosen? Wait. Chris says, do we get dibs to buy it if we ever get chosen for the 543 to be done? Oh, like if you picked one? Yeah, so the winner for the week gets to pick automatically. So unfortunately, like say I do like, all right, so like Brian, I did Brian's Spacesuit Jesus. Say like tonight, like you won. You get to choose that before Brian gets a chance to buy it. And that's just the way we've always done it. The winner gets first choice on all of them. And it's happened, you know, like someone's suggestion gets done, but then someone who wins really wants it and they grab it. But as soon as they pick another one, you know, it's first come, first serve, so you can just jump on the site and grab it. And the website is set up that you can search by your name. And it'll pull up any suggestions that I painted that are yours too. So, what else we got? Time for hockey. Bob, have a great night. If I didn't catch you, hopefully I did, but have a great night, buddy. Rocco's Modern Life. I love that. Rocco's Modern Life. My kids are the perfect age. That was their cartoon. I think I'm caught up on comments. You guys are awesome. Gary, have a great night. Yeah, Gary, I'm going to take care of you on that too. So we'll work it out. All right, great. So yes, let me do a little bit more on this. We're almost there. Yeah, well, we're there. Let me do a little bit more just because I want to. I just want to get this little highlight pretty much done except for the blue, or the highlight, the shadow. And I'll show you what happens with this. So I'm going to get this to not quite the total, or the actual value that it needs to be, because I'm going to hit this with a little bit of blue as well. And the blue is going to react with that orange and make it kind of a grayish, which will also take it down in value. So I want to kind of put the black in here, but I don't want to go nuts with it, because I'm going to anticipate that blue to change things a little bit. If you so if you play an instrument and you've learned to play an instrument, and you've also learned to play by ear, where you hear a song and you kind of can pick it up. A lot of that ear training comes from learning the instrument, right? So there's eye training that happens as an artist too. So if you take a drawing class, like a still life drawing class, you're going to learn things and pick up things from that drawing class that will allow you to see things in your work later on. And that's just the way it is. So if you're completely self-taught, meaning you never picked up a book, you just paint because you like to paint, you are missing out. You are missing out on having someone who has, who has learned that sight training and has the ability to show you how to do that as well, and what to practice and what to look for. It's huge. And I know, there's a weird purity for some people that, they want to feel like they never took lessons. But again, think about that in the terms of like a scientist. It's like, yeah, I want to be a nuclear physicist, but I don't want to have anyone tell me. I want to be self-taught. I want to learn it all on my own. And on the outset, that would be really impressive if you could just on your own come up with what, Einstein or Stephen Hawking came up with. You know what I mean? But you don't have to, and it's so much harder to add to the current pool of knowledge if you're trying to do that. The same happens with art, Learn from other people. Take a lesson from someone you respect, and it's going to allow you to do more of what you want to do. So that's really true here too. A lot of the stuff I kind of seems like I just know. It's because I learned from other people, All right, so I'm putting a little bit of reducer in here. I know I don't want to get all preachy on you. That's for Wednesday night. I'm going to grab some of this blue because this is just cobalt blue. So what I've done is I've just cleaned out the airbrush and I put a bunch of 40, 50 and some reducer in here, and then just straight cobalt blue. So this is cobalt blue, but it's also really, really reduced and thin. Because all I want to do is use this as a tint. I just want to kind of tint this one panel that I just painted right here. It's kind of greeny orange right now, but I want it to feel a lot more blue. So what's nice about this is, again, this is, if you took color theory classes, you'll know this. You won't have to like guess at it. But the orange that's in here right now is going to immediately get canceled out by the blue. So I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to paint over it with another color to get rid of the orange. The blue is going to do that. And the other thing is there's green in there, and the green and the blue are kind of blend together to make that blue. So that's as easy as it is. I'm going to spread that blue a little bit more out onto this plane because that's what's going on there, and that's what I got. All right. So congratulations to all our winners tonight. Yeah, absolutely, Chris, 100%. So there you go. That's your close-up. This is your not close-up. I'm going to back this camera out so it's not in the way, and I'm going to tilt it towards you so you get more of a non-glary, make glare view of this, and more of a head-on view. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So yeah, so all that work in this little area that's about the size of my thumb. But it plays a lot. It tells the story of what's really going on here. And this is the beauty of, this kind of close-up still life. So again, this is something that I really wanted to do with this because it's intimate. It's a larger painting. I mean, this is, I forgot how big this is, but it's, big for me. And it's also, bigger, like obviously dollar bills are much smaller. So it draws you into this thing. It forces you into this close kind of contact with these objects. And it allows you, this painting allows you to look at these things as you normally wouldn't look at them. You kind of just take a bill for what it is, and that's what it is. But this forces you in that space, in that little landscape, which is fun. So that's kind of what I want to get out of this. All right. I'm going to move this out of the way so it doesn't get ruined, because, it's what I do. Knock into stuff and knock stuff over. I'm going to move these, and I'm going to switch back to this. And I just want to say a huge thank you for 25. You guys have made this year great. I've had a blast this year with you guys. It's been so much fun painting. I want to keep giving you guys what you want on Monday nights. So feel free to leave a comment here if there's something you'd like to see in 26. I may have a kind of a post on here. There's a comment section on everyone's YouTube channel where you can put up posts. So I may put up a, what do you want to see in 2026 kind of thing. And Monday nights are for you guys, I love painting what you guys want me to paint, and it's a lot of fun. So if you don't have suggestions, that's fine too. I'm sure I can come up with some stuff. So congratulations to all our winners tonight. Again, thank you to all the generosity of you guys. It's amazing. Gary and Bobby, you guys are great. And that's what I got. So have a wonderful, safe, and happy New Year's. And I can't wait to see you guys in 26. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow on Time Lapse Tuesday. And I'll see you Wednesday on New Year's Eve. So come by and hang out with me for the Tokyo painting. All right. That's what I got. You guys get to look at the old dollar bill. And have a great New Year's. And I will catch you guys later.